think I'll be ready.
Oh.
I think it'll be just fine.
The Bengals signed Ricardo Allen and Ryan Kerrigan's in town. Welcome to Who Daily. Today it's Wednesday, March 24th. It's your boy Mike coming at you again. We got some stuff to talk about. There's some cool stuff going on. The Bengals are getting a lot of depth. I think they got burnt by the injury bug last year. They're trying very hard to not do that again this year. Still not a lot of moves on the offensive line, but that's not what I want to talk about today. Today what I want to talk about are the defensive units and how different they are from 2020. We'll do that by taking a look at some of the PFF scores. Let me just show you. 2020, let's look at the pass rush unit from the Bengals. What you had was Carl Lawson, the stud. Sam Hubbard, not great on the pass rush. DJ Reader, not known for his pass rush. Khalid Kareem, a rookie, still learning the league. So if you look at the PFF scores, these are pass rush grades, by the way. So PFF scores out overall defensive grade, and then they score out a coverage grade, pass rush grade, run stop grade. So what we see here are the pass rush grades for these players, and we had a lot of injuries, right? So there weren't a lot of reps going around. A lot of these guys, had to step up and put in a lot more pass rush reps than they typically do. Lawson obviously graded out the best, 84.9, really solid. I think that puts him in the top, 5 or 6 edge players from 2020. Sam Hubbard, not great, 59.1. He's just, he's a high motor hustle player. He gets you quite a bit of cleanup sacks, but he doesn't have the juice, the quarterback, kind of on a regular basis. He's always, just a tick late, and that's, you can clean that up. But DJ Reader, again, not much known for his pass rush, 60.7 and Kareem 59. That gives your unit a 62.5 overall grade, right? So that is, by the way, that 62.5 team pass rush grade. The team pass rush grade would take into consideration blitzing linebackers and DBs, and take all of the pressures and sacks created out of those situations into effect. What I'm doing here is simply averaging the scores of the players who got at least 100, and I believe, I think I had to go over 100 pass rush reps. I don't know if Kareem quite got there, but you can see they just didn't have that many players rushing the passer on a consistent basis outside of these 3 or 4 guys, right? So now let's take a look at what it might look like in 2021 with the signings coming up of pass rushers, the kind of revamped defense. Take a look here. You got Trey Hendrickson, who put up a 77 pass rush grade per PFF last year. Obviously, that's not as good as Lawson, but he's much better again as a pass rusher. He's kind of the opposite of Sam Hubbard. Sam Hubbard plays really strong against the run. He plays really stout there. Not very great in the pass rush. Hendrickson's kind of the opposite of that. So Hendrickson not going to give you a lot in the ways of run stopping, but he's quite a bit better at getting to the passer. And you got Sam Hubbard, DJ Reader, and Khalid Kareem still on the list here, but the Bengals added a defensive tackle in Larry Ogunjobi, who put up Larry Ogunjobi, 53.8. The weird thing about Larry Ogunjobi is that he will have 5 or 6 plays a game usually where he just dominates from a pass rush perspective. He just gets in your backfield right now, right? But then he has the rest of the snaps they range from average to really bad. So that's why you see the grades a little bit lower. But if he can get as a rotational defensive tackle, can come in on pass rush downs and get you make 5 or 6 plays a game. Not saying 5 or 6 sacks a game. I'm saying by making a play, I mean get the quarterback get his feet moving and get him looking for his check down quicker than he wants to, getting him off his spot. Those things are important, and those are things that they really did not get from the defensive interior last year. Next big thing, Ryan Kerrigan, who visited today with the Bengals. The news is they're going to sign him. However, he left today without a contract. Shouldn't really look too much into that. That's not a huge deal. But Ryan Kerrigan, 69.9 pass rush grade, which, by the way, I believe is the worst he's had in his career. So 69.9 pass rush grade makes him the second best pass rusher on the team coming on, and that's the worst grade. That we should expect that to be the floor for what he'll do next year. The cool thing about all these signings is that Ryan Kerrigan and Sam Hubbard both can kick inside and rush next to, so DJ Reader can come off the field, and you can get 4 true pass rushers on the field and not giving up a whole lot in the ways of size, right? You can get Hendrickson and you can get Hendrickson and Kerrigan off the edges, and you can get Ogunjobi and Ogunjobi and Sam Hubbard rushing from the defensive tackle spots if you're going to go 4 wide, right? That's not bad. That's way better pass rush perspective from a pass rush perspective than anything they could put on the field last year, right? So they definitely got upgraded. That unit grades out at 63.3, but the potential, if they stay healthy, of making plays that can turn games around, right? Momentum shifting plays, sack fumbles, getting in the backfield quickly to get quarterbacks to make bad throws, those kinds of plays, forcing interceptions and helping out the secondary by making the quarterback move around. Speaking of the secondary, let's take a look at the 2020 coverage grades for the Cincinnati Bengals. And right here, due to injuries, they really only had 4 guys taking coverage snaps from the cornerback position. These are just corners. The Bengals' safety room is not gonna change. It's Jesse Bates and Von Bell. They also signed Ricardo. They're signing Ricardo Allen to come in, and Ricardo Allen put up a coverage grade of 60.1 last year. That's not great. However, his run defense is better. It's like a 66.3. Because the Bengals haven't signed any linebackers in free agency, and it doesn't seem like they're going to add any in the draft. Maybe they will, maybe one. They're going to have to sign more for camp, but their starting linebacking crew is probably going to be the same. And because of that, I think it seems like what they're going to try to do next year is run a lot more nickel and dime, because they've signed, they have their depth in the corner room, depth in the safety. They also have 2 safeties now in Von Bell and Ricardo Allen. You can move into the box and play as run-stopping safeties who can also cover a tight end for you in nickel and dime sets. So I think what they're setting up to do is be very multiple in that way, of different personnel groups, of playing. You'll probably see a lot more 1 or 2 linebacker sets next year, meaning you're going to have more than likely Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson. Wilson being more of the coverage backer, and Pratt being there more of as run support linebacker. And then you're going to have probably at least two safeties on the field at all times, and a slot corner, right? So this is what we can look for. So this gave them last year a score: William Jackson 72.4, Phillips 68.1, Mackenzie Alexander 67.2, and LaShawn Sims a 40.1. Just got beat up. He's not an NFL corner. He shouldn't be on the field, but he was, because of injuries, and the Bengals just did not have depth at the corner spot. So now let's take a look at what that might look like in 2021, just a direct comparison. You got Trey, so you lose William Jackson III, and you lose Mackenzie Alexander, right? But you got a healthy Trey Waynes coming back. This PFF coverage number for Trey Waynes comes from 2019, because that's the last time he played, right? So what you're looking at here is a corner room that their top corner isn't as good as it was last year, but it's much deeper. And to the point where LaShawn Sims probably won't be on the team next year. If he is, he probably will only see the field on special teams occasions. Trey Waynes gives you 63.7, Phillips is 68.1, Awuzie 52, 62, and Eli Apple, who they just recently signed, a 59.1. They signed Eli Apple on like a prove it deal. That gives the unit an overall grade of 61, right? So while you're hearing a lot of people tell you that the Bengals got dramatically worse at corner, or even trying to say they really got worse in the secondary. If you're just looking at the cornerback group, because again, the safeties are the same. If you're just looking at the corners, right, and the options that you don't have a sticky, take him away, man-on-man corner in this group, right? Phillips is the closest they have to that, but he is not a shutdown corner. He just is better in man than he is in zone. This is giving us another clue of what the Bengals are going to do next year. They're going to be playing quite a bit of zone. Trey Waynes is a zone corner. He can play man, but he's more of a zone guy. Awuzie is definitely a zone corner. Same with Mike Hilton. Same with Eli Apple. These are guys that have the athletic traits that say they should be able to play man defense, but either because they're not asked to very often or because the schemes they've played in the past have been zone heavy, they are kind of pegged as corner or as zone experts or zone kind of corners over man because of that, right? So you're looking at, like, they say you're going to get worse. I mean, the average grade for the corners that played last year was, in 2020, including William Jackson's, not that impressive 72.4. They say, people say, well, he wasn't used correctly, and that's a fair argument. He should be playing basically man coverage all the time. He should be, he's not as good, obviously, as Darrelle Revis. He should be used like Darrelle Revis. He should be matched up with the other team's best wide receiver all game long, and the rest of the defense should be playing zone around his man coverage. That's how you use a guy like William Jackson. They didn't use him like that. Lou Anarumo does not want to do that. So now, look, again, I've said this before, it's put up or shut up time now for Lou Anarumo. You've got your guys. The Bengals have now spent 2 offseasons getting you the guys you want. If you fail this year, regardless of injury, regardless of any other circumstances, if he, after turning this roster over like this, fails again, I think that it is it's short time in Cincinnati for Lou Anarumo. They'll be looking for another defensive coordinator. But look, here are his guys. This is what he wants to do. He's got depth across the defensive line. He's got depth now in the corner and safety room. The Bengals need to sign offensive linemen. Trey Turner is still out there. There's still some guards out there to sign. There are only probably 2 legitimate starters that you would really want to see come in and grab a starting spot. Trey Turner is at the top of that list. But again, Bengals are being pretty clear here. They're signaling we're going to draft offensive linemen. They kind of have to, right? But tomorrow, I'll do another one like this, another video like this, where we take a look at the offensive line. In the same fashion, we'll look at the unit that played, the guys that got snaps last year, the PFF scores, what that average is out to, and then what, as of right now, what the unit's going to look like in 2021 without any futures, without any signings going forward, right? So stay tuned. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm having a great time. I hope you're liking the content. Love you guys. Big Who Day, and we'll see you next time on Who Daily.